everybody, and welcome in to Blue Jays Today, folks. Wow, what a weekend. I see people in the chat right now saying, how are the voices, gentlemen?
Oh, it hurts a lot. You hear this right now?
It hurts a lot. It's a little raspy for certain, everybody, but we're still here. We are still vibing with what is, I would argue right now, playing like the best baseball team in MLB. To help us break down and discuss the rest of this series and what just transpired on this weekend, we got a very special guest for all of y'all. Welcome in to Mr. Jon Morosi. Woo! Hell yeah, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time and for being here with us on this Monday morning.
Good afternoon, and thanks for the great job you do to keep everybody informed on the Blue Jays. It's an outstanding community that you built there, so congratulations to both of you on that. And I would say I'm joining the show at a time where the vibes are good. It's hard to be much better, I'm sure, for Blue Jays fans based on what you've seen the last couple of days. And Trey Yesavage, my goodness, if the baseball world did not know the name of this incredibly talented young man already, they do now.
Because, absolutely.
By no hitting the New York Yankees over that extended start. So what a weekend there at Rogers Center.
Amazing weekend. Now I want to get your first impressions. Just how surprised are you with the results of the first two games between the Blue Jays and the Yankees?
Well, I expected the Jays could hit. I didn't know they'd hit this well. And certainly when you look at the score line against Max Fried, think about how good Max Fried was against the Red Sox just a few days ago. And then you see what the Jays were able to do to him in Toronto. I think leveraging a lot of that amazing fan support that you alluded to off the top of the conversation. I just thought the at-bats were excellent. And not just the results, but the at-bat quality. And the way that you saw some really great swings, Varsho against Fried, left on left, that stood out to me. I think that the game one performances and how impressive those at-bats were. I just think this is a Blue Jays team that is the most complete version of a ball club that we've seen the Blue Jays have in at least a decade. In some ways, they have even more talent than the 2015 team, which, of course, is there in the hearts of Blue Jays fans forever. But this team, the depth of the lineup, the number of different ways they can beat you, the way that Springer has played this season, and then I think to see Vladdy have a couple iconic moments early on in the series against the arch rival Yankees. There was so much said between him and the Yankees going way back to when his dad was a free agent, probably before even Vladdy was born. There's a lot of different things to touch on there, but it really stands out to me just how much the Blue Jays lineup has been equal to the task. And then the pitch making and the really bold choice for the Blue Jays to have Yesavage start game two. It wasn't the most obvious decision. It may look that way in retrospect, but think about it. You had to have Bassett and Scherzer not be on the roster. You had to tell Bieber, hey, listen, we're going to go with you in game three. They had to maybe pencil in a Lauer for a bullpen game plus into game four. And for that to happen, for Yesavage to have that moment at home. And now he is going to be an icon of Canadian sports forever, really, based on that performance, and one that I think sets the stage very nicely for not just the rest of this postseason, but for his overall career as a Toronto Blue Jay.
Well, let's talk just a little bit about that pitching, because I think walking into the postseason, both Adam and I and a lot of the Toronto Blue Jays faithful, what we were most concerned about was that pitching from the Toronto Blue Jays, and especially the starters, right? When you just compare pound for pound, New York Yankees starters, I mean, you brought him up, Max Fried, but he's not the only one in that rotation who is really, really good at baseball. And when you're comparing them pound to pound to the Toronto Blue Jays, I was giving the edge to the New York Yankees. But not only just Yesavage, even in game one, Kevin Gausman and the bullpen, they ultimately really neutralized that New York Yankees lineup. And I think a lot of people are wondering right now, is this the really good pitching of the Toronto Blue Jays, or is this the New York Yankees faltering in a big moment right now? From your perspective, who are you giving the credit to here?
More so the Blue Jays. I think this has much more to do with the quality of the Jays than it does the struggles of the Yankees. And think about this. It was the Jays who had the 5-day layoff, right, in between games, where the theory has been advanced to different extents in recent years. Oh, will the rust be a determining factor for the Blue Jays? Evidently, no, it won't. because the bats were pretty good there in game one, and they were even better in game two. So the layoff, and maybe specifically we should give the Jays credit for how they managed the layoff, the intra-squad games, different things they did to stay sharp, really stood out to me. The big picture point I'll make about pitching in a postseason series, guys, is this. And I've learned this just by watching a lot of postseason baseball and talking to people who are in charge of managing these games, is the series at some point in time, they become a competition to get as many outs as you can from as small of a number of pitchers as possible while expending the fewest number of pitches that you can. It's almost like an efficiency race.
Yeah.
Because the more that you have to open that bullpen door, the higher the probability that someone's going to come in and just not have as good stuff that day, or by game 4 or 5 or in a 7-game series, 6 or 7, you've seen these pitchers now multiple times, and you get better looks, and you have a better chance to do damage against them in game 6 than you would have in game 1. So I think a really pivotal decision came when the Yankees removed Luis Gil early on in game 1. Bullpen had to get involved really early, and they had to get involved really early again in game 2 because Fried struggled. And of course, it was Warren who ultimately gave up the home run to Vladdy. So certainly this day is going to be important for the Yankee bullpen to rest. But now the Jays have seen the Yankee bullpen in extended periods of time in each of the first 2 games, and that plays into the Jays' advantage. I also think it's really important that in both game 1 and game 2 that we saw Louis Varland pitch well.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
If he is going to be a dude in the late innings, someone that you feel comfortable giving the ball to in the 8th inning on a consistent basis, the sky is truly the limit for this Blue Jays team, because that was one of the parts of this ball club that I was thinking about the most. To your point, what does the bridge look like? And even once you get to Hoffman, what does it all look like? And Varland, who had sort of a mediocre beginning to his Jays career after the trade deadline, if he's back to being the force that he's been with the Twins, you really like the Jays' chances. And then I think the final point I'll make before I send it back to you on this note is, you would have thought that potentially going with a split-fingered heavy pitcher on back-to-back games could have been a little risky, because sometimes, again, you get to look at Gausman's split, and then it might make you a little more attuned to be able to hit Yesavage's split. Well, really, that was not a concern. And part of it, and my colleague Mark DeRosa broke this down on MLB Central a bit today too, is that the action on Yesavage's splitter and the armed delivery point is so high over the top that it's different enough from Gausman that it was a different look for the offensive players of the Yankees to try to pick up that spin. I thought it was devastating. You can just tell. You can watch as much video as you want, guys, but there is no substitute for being in the batter's box against the pitcher. And clearly, the Yankees, who by the time they face Yesavage a 3rd or a 4th or a 5th time in their life cycle as major league players, they'll probably have more success. But what if that's the only time that they face him? Because the Jays are in the series in the next 2 games. And that becomes, I think, a really fascinating dynamic where they might be able to get a little bit better results against Yesavage, but it might happen in April or May of 2026.
Right. No, and I agree. I mean, even to Mark DeRosa's point, too, throwing the wrinkle of the slider 37% of the time against the righties, that slider has movement that really major league players have not seen as well. Now, going over to the Yankees side of things, of course, they're down 0-2. What adjustments do they need to make against the Toronto Blue Jays? Now they're going back to the Bronx. What do they need to do to have a chance in this series to come back and force a game 5?
Well, it starts with starting pitching, and they're fortunate to have Rodon on the mound. He is, in my opinion, he has become one of the more ascendant young starting pitchers. Not so much young anymore, but he's an all-star level pitcher who really is now pitching like an all-star. And the Yankees need him to be their stopper there now that the series is shifting back to Yankee Stadium. It's interesting. I covered the division series last year, Yankees-Royals, and he was so amped up in the first inning against KC. He was pumping 100-mile-an-hour fastballs and just max effort and everything. And eventually he was hit a little harder deep on in that game because he had kind of almost burned through that energy.
Right.
And what he was left with once he kind of came down from that adrenaline rush was he was a little more hittable. I think Rodon is now he's a little more poised and mature of a pitcher, even since last year. I know talking to Aaron Boone this season, he's been really impressed by the way that Rodon has allowed things to settle in. He still has a great slider, wipeout pitch. Fastball is played up this year. He's he's a legitimate 3 to 4 pitch guy that I think the Jays are going to probably struggle with a bit more. It's still a good place to hit, certainly. And Vladdy has always performed well against the Yankees. Let's not forget, the Jays won the regular season series against the Yankees, and that's why they're the American League East champions. So it's not as though the Jays' success against the Yankees is some big surprise. Maybe the margins are a surprise. I mean, the number of runs scored might be a bit of a surprise. But if you're looking for this overall American League playoff picture, and I just came from Seattle, covered the first 2 games there, where I think we saw in 2 games the amount of runs the Jays put up in about 3 innings. Between the 2 teams combined. I think it's just a different brand of baseball there, but the point is valid in that the Jays, when they're clicking, and they're clicking right now, they have the deepest lineup in the American League 1 through 9. Now, Aaron Judge is still the best hitter in the American League, and I think you saw the Jays, the way they pitched him, especially Yesavage yesterday early on, walking him in the first inning. They were going to make someone else beat them, and no one else has at this point in time in this series. So that can all change. The Yankees are going back home. There have been plenty of times I've covered series where it looks like a team is completely done, and they rally and come back. There's a lot on the line for the Yankees. They do not want to have an embarrassing end of their season at home for a second straight year. Of course, remember it was Game 5 against the Dodgers last year. The comedy of errors that happened. There's a lot of pride in that clubhouse. So I'm sure Aaron Judge will have his guys ready to play. But they're going to have to start with better at-bats, and it has to be from guys not named Aaron Judge. They're going to have, I think, a really good tempo set. And Ben Rice, you think about his matchup, I think Rice against Bieber is a good matchup for Rice. And then, of course, you got Stanton with his postseason power that he's always had. But there are still plenty of quality bats in this Yankee lineup, and I'll take some very good cues early from the quality of the takes that they've got against Bieber, and also they're able to put the ball. Sometimes it's the simple base knock the other way that tells you that you're on time again. And after the rush of what the Yankees experienced in Toronto, I'm sure for them to get back to the comfortable hitting environment will be worth probably at least a couple more base hits for them during the course of Game 3.
Okay, John, I know we only got you for a couple more minutes here, so I got 2 more questions for you, and the last one's really quick. But this one right here, I'm going to knock on wood. I'm going to knock on wood before I ask you. Okay, knock on wood right there. We're up 2 games right now. We're up 2 games. You just said that you came back. You were covering the Seattle series over there. A lot of Toronto Blue Jay fans right here already starting to think, hey, maybe we're just one more win away from going to the ALCS. Then we're going to be up against either one of Seattle or Detroit. From your time watching that series over there, can you just give us a tiny little baby preview as to how you think that series is going to progress now that those 2 teams are all tied up 1-1?
Seattle, to me, has the better roster, top to bottom. Their lineup is deeper, I think, and also their superstar players are rolling. And if Cal Raleigh is going and Julio Rodriguez are going, and then you saw Jorge Polanco with a 2-homer game yesterday against Skubal, if those trends continue, the likelihood is that it's going to be Seattle facing Toronto, I believe, in the ALCS, unless they're big bats, unless Riley Green gets going in a big way. Carpenter gets going in a big way. I thought that Torp was on an excellent at-bat late yesterday to have that rope double down the right field line to tie that game in the 8th inning. Gleyber Torres has had really good at-bats. The Tigers are close. I mean, on total runs right now, it's 6-6. I mean, it's 3-2 Detroit, 3-2 Seattle. It's been tight. I think the Tigers pitching has performed maybe a little better than I thought they would. But now it's Jack Flaherty against Logan Gilbert. I would give a slight edge to Logan Gilbert in Game 3. Gabe Spire came in Game 2 and pitched phenomenally well out of the bullpen. Andres Munoz, I thought, in the late inning spot, closing it out for Seattle, was excellent yesterday too. Bizzardo came in for them and pitched well. I think that their bullpen is maybe 1 pitcher deeper. Their rotation is probably 1 step up better than what Detroit has. And their superstar players are all clicking. I think that Seattle's a little bit better. Detroit can still rally, and we'll see what happens in the second half of the series. Maybe being back at home again will help the Tigers out a little bit. Again, Flaherty's got some big game experience. He helped the Dodgers win the World Series last year. So I think the Tigers still have plenty of a chance. I just think Seattle, on paper and what I've seen so far, is a slightly better team.
All right, and real quick question. I'm putting you on the spot here, John, in front of all these Blue Jay fans. The thousands of Blue Jay fans are going to watch this. Who do you got in the World Series matchup, and who do you got winning it?
All right, so my prediction skills are not always that good.
Same.
So when the playoffs began, I had Mariners over Padres. That one's not going to come true because the Padres should have been. I should have taken my own advice and said that I would not pick a team that's in the wild card round to win their league. So I can't exactly bail on the Mariners, seeing as how I picked them a week ago, and they're the only team that I've got left still alive in my bracket. So I got to stay with the Mariners, even though I'm quite impressed by what the Jays have done. And I think on the National League side, I love the way the Brewers play. And I think that no matter who wins the NLDS between the Dodgers and Phillies, they're going to be the favorite. They're going to be the big market team. But I love the way the Brewers play. And I think that would be, by the way, a really fun World Series. If it's Milwaukee, Seattle, and you've got the eventual Seattle Pilots, which are the Brewers, against the Seattle team. And then if you then get a Milwaukee Toronto World Series, that would also be awesome. The Brewers, of course, looking for their first World Series title ever. Their first since '93. And then if the ALCS, by the way, is Toronto Seattle. I mean, all these matchups are great. Toronto Seattle with all the fans from Vancouver coming down, which would be awesome. That'd be a great crowd there. And then if it's Detroit Toronto, the first time they'd ever play in the playoffs. Memories of '87, I suppose, on some level, and we would all be doing this show live from London and trying to sit halfway and say, okay, what do we got here? I know Windsor, London, as we know, is much more Jays. Windsor is probably 50-50, which would be a lot of fun to kind of do like the person on the street story in Windsor and see what everybody's vibe is there. But I would love any of these matchups. I think that the baseball has been phenomenal, and just to see what Rogers Center looks like right now is really special. The atmosphere the fans have created, just good on you, because it's a first-class facility, especially now that the improvements have been made, and the fans have always been first-rate. And I always say that whenever I go to Toronto, I see how young and how engaged the fans are there. It's just, to me, it's a point of pride for the whole sport. So Toronto, just keep on doing what you're doing, because it's an amazing atmosphere to watch.
Well, speaking on behalf of the fans, thank you so much for coming on here and being so generous with your time. We appreciate that, the analysis, and we always look forward to hearing what it is that you got to say on all of the various things that we see your face pop up.
You're everywhere, John.
You're everywhere, dude. But thank you so much, and I mean, we will be watching vividly, just as close as you, and hopefully we can get that Seattle Jays ALCS, because that would be electric.
That'd be quite a matchup. And again, if I'm in Toronto, hopefully I'll be there next week. We'll have to connect at the ballpark and say hello there.
Absolutely, John.
Man. Thank you very much. Everybody, that was Jon Morosi. You know where to find him. He's a legend. We are not going anywhere, folks. That's just the beginning of this Blue Jays Today show. We got to dive a little bit deeper in what we watched this weekend. But shout out to the 315 people that are viewing right now. Everybody, if you haven't already done so, please make sure to hit that like, smash that subscribe button. Let's take a moment and shout out Sports Interaction, considering we are in the Sports Interaction studio right now. This is all presented to you by Sports Interaction Sportsbook and Casino. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction, Canada's homegrown sportsbook. I haven't taken a look yet, but did you?
I took a look at the odds of the Blue Jays winning the ALDS.
Okay, that's where I was going.
It's down to -500. -500. That feels like pretty good. That's like Chiefs versus Giants.
Exactly. We can do some quick math right there, because I mean, ultimately, I posted this out yesterday, but it's roughly an 89% chance that Toronto will go on and they will win this thing. That's just historically speaking. So that's, again, knocking on wood. That's not me jinxing them. That's not nothing. That's just looking back at the numbers throughout history. Whenever a team goes up 2-0 in the ALDS or the NLDS, 89% of the time they will hang on. So hey, I mean, if you're believing in it, Jon Morosi's believing in it, we're believing in it right now. The odds are believing in it.
You can make a quick buck if you want to drop a little bit on that. But Sports Interaction Sportsbook and Casino, excuse me, look at my voice, has you covered with pitch-by-pitch live betting and easy deposits and payouts. Every game is your game when you bet with Sports Interaction. Go to sportsinteraction.com/BJN, that's Blue Jays Nation, to open an account. Ontario only, 19 plus. Please pay responsibly. You can click the link in the details too to download the app. Let's soak it in, everybody. I know we had John on. He broke it down. Wonderful speaker. I'm shocked that his voice isn't gone already. He must drink that lemon ginger honey tea quite often. But let's soak it in. let's take a look at some of the crazy stats that happened over the weekend. There was literal history that was made on Saturday and on Sunday between the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Did you know that the Blue Jays have scored the most runs in the first 2 games of a single postseason in MLB history? Like, just soak that in. I know you made the bold prediction and it came true immediately. That they would score over 10 runs a game.
Oh, I know. I feel like you guys know how Trey Yesavage went out afterwards and like soaked that all in. I feel like that when I made that prediction, and that actually came immediately. I was like, oh wow, I'm him. I'm baseball Nostradamus right now. But seriously, like when I said that, it was a bold prediction for a reason. I certainly didn't expect it to happen in the first 2 games, but for the Toronto Blue Jays to come out and quite literally look like the best offense in the history of postseason baseball in the first 2 games that they played, like that is absolutely something to hold your cap on.
You know what you really got to hold your cap on, or like tip your cap to, is we weren't even considering the Blue Jays' abilities to hit home runs in this series. It was Yankees hit a lot of home runs.
Correct.
They've out-homered us the entire series. Well, the Blue Jays have hit 8 home runs through the first 2 games. That's also an MLB record. So, yeah, if the Blue Jays can play our brand of baseball, which is up and down, like John was saying, 1 through 9, contributing, and then all of a sudden you sprinkle in the home run ball, that's how you put up crooked numbers like 10 and 13.
Well, listen, that's not a sprinkle, man. Like, that's a full-on, like,
we dumped.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when the salt cap is too loose and you accidentally dump it all.
You just literally dumped all that shit in there, right? 8 home runs, 4 home runs on average per game. Are you kidding me?
Incredible.
Like, this is, I don't think we've had a stretch like this season, right, where there's been this much of the home run ball. So, offensively speaking, Toronto Blue Jays are here. It even got to the point where you're seeing these trolls on Twitter, bringing up how the Toronto Blue Jays, we must be cheating at home. Toronto Blue Jays must be cheating at the Rogers Center because that's the only possible reason why they are scoring this many runs.
That's ludicrous.
Ludicrous. You don't believe it because you saw Max Fried get absolutely shelled. You saw some of your bullpen guys get absolutely shelled. The fact of the matter is, Toronto at home this whole season has proven that they are a legitimate ball-hitting club.
And they've beaten Max Fried a couple of times. They've gotten to him. So, like, look, you're maybe the lights were just a bit too bright. Rogers Center was a bit too rocking for Max Fried. And plus, Max Fried is a contact pitcher. What are the Blue Jays? Contact hitters. So it just goes against like your Achilles heel. We put the ball in play. Look at Aaron Judge freaking smacking his head against the right field wall down the foul line, making Varsho go to third. We put the ball in play. You make mistakes. You make mistakes in the zone, and we capitalize. It's that simple.
I also really hate the fact that ever since the cheating scandal with the Houston Astros, it feels like whenever a squad is doing really good or a really good team ends up doing really bad against another team, well, the only possible explanation that could ever happen is that someone must be cheating, because there has obviously been a deep history with cheating in baseball before. Most recent example is the Houston Astros, but that's not always the explanation. Nobody wants there to be cheating, okay? There's not a single analyst out there that is actively rooting on cheating. And I would anticipate that the Toronto Blue Jays, like, what do we really think is going on here? John is going in there and fucking, pulling the strings of the cheating strings? Like, no, everyone, we're just actually good, okay? 99% of the time, we're actually good. There was that one time in recent history where, actually, there was some cheating, but that's not the...
What was that, the sticky stuff?
No, the Houston Astros doing their whole thing, right? Yeah. But that's not the rule, okay? That was the exception. Yeah. That was the exception.
Yeah, and I get it. If I'm a Yankee fan, I'm looking at Blue Jays. How the fuck did they go from being the team they were the year prior with zero offense to all of a sudden this? I think you got to look at the personnel that they made changes. The hitting coach, David Popkins, making these guys believe themselves. There's one thing I've noticed with this Blue Jay team. They have a stupid amount of confidence. And they've been together, this core, for a few years now. Like rocking with each other, Ernie Clement, David Schneider, Aston Barger, Vladdy, Bo Bichette, George Springer. They are rocking with each other. They love each other. This team is built different, and they're peaking at the right time. We first began this podcast. I said 2024 is the year they're going to win the World Series. I was maybe a little bit too early. I'm knocking on wood. But, reason why I said that is because you need to build up a chemistry, a trust, an understanding, a maturity, and we're seeing that right here. It's not cheating. It's called getting better and peaking. We're all peaking at the right time.
And listen, if in several months' time some scandal comes out where they were cheating, we will be the first to admit that we were fully wrong. But when there's absolutely zero evidence of any kind, like that's the thing. I could understand if there was some type of, like there actually was a couple things going on, a couple rumors, couple pieces of evidence pointing in that direction, but there's nothing. It's actually just pure speculation by ignorant fans that are now starting to become familiar with this Toronto Blue Jays offense and what's gotten them to this point. But this is not like they just flipped the switch and are immediately good. They've been this good all season long. You're just starting to realize it right now.
Yeah, you know what's funny, too? They always bring up, like, the home records, right? Like, the home record is so much better than anybody else. No, it's not. We have 54 wins at home. You have 50 wins at home. Like, looking over here, the home record, 54 and 27. They're saying, they're so much better at home. You're, like, kind of not that far away. You're also 50 and 31. So are you cheating? Does winning 4 more games than you guys make us cheating? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
It's a very stupid narrative. You know what? I feel dumb for even giving it that much airtime. So let's move on because clearly that's just not the case, everybody. Shout out to Arden Zwelling right here. These are some ALDS Game 2 facts. So watch your step when you get up, everybody, because we're about to drop some knowledge, or at the very least, Arden Zwelling just did. Blue Jays have more homers and strikeouts in the series. Is that good?
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good.
Is that good? You tell me.
Again, this is in the entire series, not just Game 2. You had 2 on Game 1, 5 in the next game. That's actually ludicrous.
Like the swing and miss has been non-existent from this Toronto Blue Jays team, and these are not slouches either, right? Max Fried's a good pitcher. Luis Seal's been a good pitcher in his and they multiple other bullpen arms. I know that the Yankees bullpen is questionable at best, but still, I mean, to get 7 strikeouts in 2 games time. Meanwhile, Trey Yesavage in 5 innings gets 11. Like come on. Right, the swing and miss, or the lack thereof from this Toronto Blue Jays team has been masterful.
It's literally video game numbers. It's actually that stupid, and I can't believe that we're seeing this right now. And here's another video game number, just to double down on Trey Yesavage, who's becoming a star in the MLB very quickly. Yesavage, 58% whiff rate is the highest of any pitcher in postseason since 2008. Can you believe it? I mean, I can, because when you look at that splitter, it's absolutely disgusting. Goes to show, like, they haven't figured him out. Like, to John's point, maybe you see him a few more times, maybe you will. But to the Blue Jays' benefit right here in the postseason run, none of these teams are going to see him more than 3 times in a series. Maybe in a game 7, you go to game 7, you see him maybe twice. But that's it. You're not going to see him more than that. These hitters might see him 4 or 5 times through the lineup, right? But you're not going to be able to figure out how to hit that splitter in that time.
Yeah, this is it genuinely feels like an X factor for the Toronto Blue Jays. We were at the game, or the inter-squad games, and somebody was bringing up to it. We were asking what the X factor is, and they actually brought up Trey Yesavage. And when they initially said that, I was like, okay, yeah, I could see that. But a part of me is like, this is some rookie, but
getting an ace out of fucking nowhere is a pretty good
that's
X factor.
But like, it kind of feels like we just won the lottery there. And when teams go on to win the World Series, we've talked about this time and time again, you got to have these completely out of nowhere, unexpected breakouts. Yes, you have your star players, but there will always be these guys that pop up out of nowhere, and here they are at the right time doing the right thing. Trey Yesavage certainly feels like that individual, and especially when you're factoring in the state of this Toronto Blue Jays rotation walking into the postseason. There is no Max Scherzer right now because the guy forgot how to throw a baseball properly. Chris Bassett's still on the IL. Jose Barrios injured right now.
Yeah.
Trey Yesavage is picking up all of the slack.
And what's funny, he actually needed to. And I still think it's crazy to think that the only pitcher, the starting pitcher, that's still with this Blue Jays roster in the ALDS that started the year with us is Kevin Gausman. We traded for Bieber, and we got Yesavage out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
So, we're getting these magical, unexpected surprises, and you need that if you need to go on a World Series run.
Exactly.
And I truly believe this level of play isn't just a one and done. This is going to continue. You face the team that had the first in runs scored all year long, first in home runs. You just beat them. You didn't let them get up a single hit. That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I can't speak for Yesavage's entire career here, but I just don't think that there's enough time in this postseason for another squad to adjust.
What do you adjust to?
Exactly, right? Like maybe next year when he starts out with us, like people will have a better understanding of how to actually attack him and how to deal with him. I just don't know if there's enough time though when all these other teams are dealing with, the person in front of them right now, right?
Yeah.
They're trying to make it to game 3, game 4, game 5. I don't think they got enough time to figure out how to handle Trey Yesavage. So therefore, at this current juncture, after what we just saw, 5.1 innings, no hit baseball, of course I'm looking at him as an X factor, and of course I'm thinking that this dude is going to be the difference between us maybe getting knocked out in the ALDS or the ALCS and maybe making a bit of a run. Shout out here to some people. Jonesy here has been a member for 5 months. Yankee fans got real quiet about run differential stat too. Keep sleeping on the Jays. The bats will wake up. The haters / doubters.
I know.
You know what's so hilarious? What's the run differential in this series?
Oh, exactly.
Right now?
That's why they're silent.
What's the run
they're
differential
so
here? We dropped 23 on your ass. How much you got? 8?
Yeah.
23 to 8?
It's embarrassing. That was a gifted 7 yesterday.
Exactly.
So you got a little lucky. And shout out to Tanner Biggio, the 279 Donut, saying, I predict an early rendition of the Bronx cheer. What does that mean?
I think the Bronx cheer is booing, no?
I'm
pretty sure that's what
and
that
I
is.
said this too. I actually would not be shocked if the Yankees lineup is announced and then you know how they do the whole going down the line and one person of each part of the lineup comes out and then whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if they start booing these guys. And I kind of hope they do. I hope that they're this frustrated and they boo the hell out of their own team. Because what is home field advantage then?
They, to me, are looking like the Toronto Blue Jays did in the various other years that we want to talk about the wild card.
Yeah.
They look like they're not.
Up.
That's the thing. They're not built for this. They're not showing up, right? And credit where credit is due. They made it through Boston, but what, to do this?
Yeah, that's embarrassing. Well, it's not over yet, though. It's not over yet.
Not over yet.
So
exactly. We're getting ahead of ourselves, and I do think that we need to continue to zoom out and go, okay, wait, there is still a 10% chance that they come back and embarrass us, and everything that we're saying right now is going to get clipped later.
Yeah.
So I fully recognize that. However, obviously, I'm feeling really good right now.
Job's not done. Shout out to Doug Savoto saying, where's... I can't read that right. Can you read that?
Where's New York Doug now? I love your guys' energy. Doug's in the chat.
Oh, he's here.
He said Yanks in 5 several times. So shout out to Doug for being here, man. Honestly, respect for coming and for showing your face in here, even though you guys are down. And no one can say that Doug is, I guess, at this current juncture, a fair weather fan. I brought that up yesterday, but he's in here after getting shit kicked. It's still riding with his team.
Here.
So you know what, Doug? I'll tell you what, brother. There will be a spot, a place for you on the Blue Jays bandwagon should you wish to accept it if and when Toronto moves on and heads to the ALCS.
The one caveat, you got to change your profile picture to a Toronto Blue Jay. That's the one caveat. Then we'll welcome you in.
Welcome you with open arms at that point.
And we got a little special prize for you a little later in this video. Let's move on. Let's just keep soaking it in, everybody. Guerrero. What can I say? Phenomenal. Guerrero has seen 37 pitches in this series. He's only chased 2, but both of those pitches resulted in 2 singles in game 1. That's actually cracked. When he decided to chase, he put the ball in play. He got a single.
Yeah. This is the best version of Vladdy that we've seen all year, actually.
He made the adjustments in the time off, too. He made the actual adjustments and got the rest. And look at the results.
100%.
I was saying it all September. He needs a break. And I know it's not an excuse, but look what a break does for you come postseason.
Yeah, no, Guerrero is doing everything that we could have asked for him and more. The moment has not been too big. He is exceeding my expectations by a wide margin. And what did I say when we were on the pregame on game one and various other Blue Jays Today shows? Vladdy needs to show up. If Vladdy's not here, I don't think that we're going to win this series. Vladdy has shown up in a massive way. 6.49, I believe, is what he is hitting right now in this series. 2 games in. Couple bombs, bunch of
Big
RBIs.
bomb.
So
You
if Vladdy wasn't doing what he's doing, and if he was the immediate out that he was leading up to the postseason, would we be 2-0? I don't know, because maybe some of those rallies results in no runs cashing in. Maybe that gives some momentum back to the Yankees, and maybe instead of being up 2-0, we're 1-1, or God forbid 0-2. But he's here right now. He's delivering, and he actually had the first grand slam in Blue Jays postseason history. If you can believe it. That actually blew me away. I didn't think that would be the case, but first in history.
And so he was looking for his touch 'em all moment. Now I know there's a lot more home runs I would put over
it's
this
not
one.
The same.
But this was a big one to get the first grand slam, to just showcase that you are here. Like, you didn't need to hit a grand slam in that moment. Maybe you didn't. We'll never know. But you did, and you just buried the Yankees in a game 2 in a 5-game series. So shout out to Vlad. Keep it going, buddy. But they are going to go into the Bronx, and we'll break down that series in a little bit. But before we do, everybody, let's give a shout out to another sponsor here on Blue Jays Today. We've got Pizza. Meet your new game time favorite, the Stromboli and drink combo from Pizza. 4 mouthwatering flavors: pepperoni, pesto Mediterranean, 4 meat, and smoky barbecue chicken. Roll up with pizza today. Don't wait. Swing by Pizza today, or order on the Pizza app or online at pizzapizza.ca. Pizza, because everyone deserves pizza. We're going to have a pizza party, I believe, tomorrow.
Yeah.
That'll be nice. Back at it for game 3.
Yeah, for game 3, everybody. Now, we're going to break down that game and then game 4 if necessary and all that. But before we do that, we always like to do Fan of the Month, Troll of the Month. I think this is a great opportunity. It is September 6th right now, so the Fan and the Troll of the Month, and this is kind of cheating a little bit because what they have done to deserve these things happened in September mostly, but still, let's announce the Fan of the Month.
Play. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Fan of the month, baby.
Fan of the month. There was somebody very special.
Yeah, this one definitely goes out to Leah for her amazing cookies. She gave us cookies. She baked us cookies and brought them over here. And it has all of your favorite sayings here on Blue Jays Today, like Vladdy Daddy, Boba going boom boom, Kevin Gosman, pray to the Gos right here. Boom. You got the AL East champions, right? Or AL division champions. Leah absolutely deserves it. Standing, I can't even do it. Standing on business. Y'all know my throat is absolutely gone from cheering on your Toronto Blue Jays. But W's for Leah for going above and beyond and doing that for the boys. Absolutely. Congratulations. Now, we have another award because while we honor the fans, we gotta honor some of the trolls who are good trolls. The ones who engage in our content, like to tease, like to poke fun. We got a troll of the month as well. Here it is.
This is my swan. Yeah, don't eat it. This is my
Yo.
my swan.
And funny enough, the troll of the month just changed their profile picture to the Toronto Blue Jays with a cancel sign right through it. It's Doug Davis.
Let's go. Let's go. Doug Davis in here wants nothing to do with the Jays, but he's in the stream every bloody time. We said, look, we don't want to ban this guy, and a lot of people were getting fed up with him, but Doug's been here for what has been an absolute electric ride in the ALDS so far. He continues to troll, even though he's down bad, and honestly, I got a deep respect for that. I really do. You know what? He could have been here for a moment in time, then left, and nobody would have thought the better of him.
Yeah.
But he's been here for a while. He's continuing up with his trolling capabilities, and we look forward to seeing what you're capable of, Doug, in Game 3 of the ALDS. I can't even imagine if you actually win one.
Oh
what
my
it would be
God,
like.
it's gonna be unreal.
Yeah, because every time that he's come in, Blue Jays have won.
Yeah.
He came in game 162.
Yep.
He came in game 1 and game 2 of the ALDS.
And he came in during our barbecue as well.
Yeah.
We're 4-0 with Doug.
We are 4-0 when Doug Davis comes in here and decides to troll the Toronto Blue Jays and the Blue Jays Today boys. So yeah, if that guy's not troll of the month, I don't know who is. But thank you very much to everybody for being just the best goddamn community on the internet. Even though Leah was the fan of the month, we appreciate
so
every single one of you.
Honestly.
We've been growing so quickly. The community is just electric right now, and obviously it helps when the Toronto Blue Jays team is playing as good as they're playing. Let's move on and talk a little bit about Game 3.
Ooh.
Shane Bieber, standing on business, up against Carlos Rodon, who is 18-9.
Yeah.
He's got a 3.09 ERA. We heard from Jon Morosi that he believes Carlos Rodon is built for this moment now. He wasn't always built for this moment, but now, being around the block, being that guy for a while, he believes that he is ready for this time.
Yeah.
Shane Bieber, has he ever pitched in a playoff game? Now I'm thinking about it.
It's got to be for
It must have at some point.
Hey, shush. Hey, Alexa.
What the fuck?
Alexa, stop. Dude, my Alexa is tripping, so we keep changing our Wi-Fi. So it's like, where's the Wi-Fi? Where's the Wi-Fi? I'm like, yo, chill, robot.
Shut up.
I'm doing something here.
I'm doing a thing right now. We're standing on business with Shane Bieber, who, he's going to be starting for the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow in the Bronx. Toronto Blue Jays, a significantly better team at home than they are on the road. Granted, all we need to do is win one more game. We got 3 games to do it. 2 of them will be taking place in New York if we need the second one, and then if we really need, the last one will be in Toronto. But first things first, are we even going to need a game 4? Bieber, Rodon, thoughts on this ball game?
It's a good question because you got to hope. We don't need a game 4 if you're hoping that the Blue Jays offense from Rogers Center goes over to the Bronx. Like, if you can get that offense clicking in the Bronx, and they have shown in the past, the series is basically over. Now, in terms of Carlos Rodon and his postseason performance so far against the Boston Red Sox, he really did show up. 6 innings, 4 hits, only 3 earned runs. But the Boston Red Sox lineup is not the Toronto Blue Jays lineup. And the Blue Jays, they really did get to him a little bit in terms of the pitch count during the regular season. His 2 starts only lasted 5. Now, I know it sounds like only, that's pretty good. I mean, it's a postseason now, and if you can really work him and get that pitch count high, Boone might go to the bullpen a little bit earlier. And that's what I'm saying. I think the Blue Jays aren't going to forget how to beat Carlos Rodon. Shane Bieber, it's been a long time since he's been in the postseason. His postseason ERA is 5 with a whip of 1.28. That's a very small sample size. I think Bieber's going to do just enough to keep us in this ball game. I think Boone's going to crumble. I think he's going to go to that bullpen when he shouldn't, and we're going to get to that bullpen. I'm thinking we sweep here because I said we lose yesterday, and I said we win today. We won yesterday, so we got to win today.
I do hear where you're coming from.
Tuesday.
And you make some good points right there. Quick shout out here to Ann Beacock with the $5 donation. Real honey will help that sore throat, Adam. Yeah,
I've already had 2 of these with honey and lemon.
Honestly, my throat is feeling it major as well right now. As I talk more, it's starting to get warmed up, but just understand that it is burning in there. It is burning. Also, Vladimir Guerrero, very upset at the fan and the troll of the month. Listen, buddy, you're doing well.
We've noticed.
You're doing okay, but I need to see a little bit more here around Guerrero. I got to see a little bit more for you.
There's just others outperforming right now.
That's the thing. You know what I mean? Doug has been clutch. I don't know if you got that clutch factor right now, kid. So we like what you're doing. The program can recognize that you're making strides in the right direction. There's always next month, right? There's always going to be next month for real. For me, I just find it too good to be true that we sweep the Yankees,
I found it too good to be true that we scored 23 runs.
I hear that. I certainly I what you're talking about, but damn, dude, that is...
I know. It feels unreal.
To go into New York, I think that's the disconnect for me, is we've done it at home, and they're right. We are filthy at home, right? And that just goes to show how incredible the home field advantage is. But we've done it at home. Can we do it on the road? I am going to, out of respect for the quality of our opponent, I am going to give the New York Yankees a win here. I will say that we need to get one more game. I don't think at this current juncture of time it is going to require 5 games. So I'll tell you right now, I think we're going to win in Game 4 against the Yankees. Even we're both changing our initial predictions.
We are.
Neither of us expected
no one
to be up
expected that,
2-0
right.
and to score this many runs. But I will say that we lose Game 3, and in Game 4, where we got a bullpen day, and they got Cam Schlittler on the bump. I know that things are going up again. Oh no, what's going to happen here? I think the Toronto Blue Jays, they are going to, in this current moment of time, the offense will step up, carry the boys. They're not going to want to come back to Toronto with, in a must-win game. This is where we will end the series on Wednesday against Cam Schlittler in the Bronx.
You got to hope that Schlittler doesn't pull Yesavage like he did, in the first game against the Boston Red Sox, because he was absolutely dominant. 8 innings, 12 strikeouts against the Boston Red Sox. Now, Schlittler during the regular season has been pretty bad against the Toronto Blue Jays. He's gotten blown up quite a bit. My biggest concern, and look, I know the offense can be clicking and they're going to be doing their thing, but if Schiller's getting hot at the right time, maybe he neutralizes them. My biggest concern is, we threw out Eric Lauer in a situation yesterday. He got lit up. Only recorded 1 out, 3 earned runs. That's the guy who's going to be taking the bulk load right here in Game 4. I'm a little nervous. I'm not going to lie, Chad, about that. Like, if we don't win on Tuesday, I think we lose this one and we go to a Game 5 back in Toronto. It makes me a little nervous.
I get that. I do hear what you're saying. I mean, ultimately, I think the better chance is we win with Shane Bieber on the bump. I'm trying to give some respect to our opponent here and recognize that the Yankees, whilst they, to Buck's credit, might not be a great fundamental baseball team, they do hit a lot of home runs. And we actually haven't seen that shoe drop yet. You got to imagine that it's going to come eventually. So I'm thinking that they're going to wake up in Game 3 right there, but offense will carry us in Game 4 as they've done in the first 2. If it does go to a Game 5, whilst I will be shitting bricks at that point, as will you, I'm not going to be as nervous as I think maybe I should be, because when we are at home, we've proven time and time again, we dominate at home. And when we zoom out for a second, if it goes to a Game 5, I'm going to remind myself that both of us predicted Jays in 5. So
here's the thing. I know you said you won't be as nervous. I'll still be nervous regardless, because one game, anything can friggin' happen.
Of course. And I love momentum. The momentum would
the other
be
way.
in the Yankees' favor should that happen. Ultimately, I really don't want that to happen, because as you can tell, both Adam and I's vocal cords are shot.
Oh my.
And if we got to go live for Tuesday, Wednesday, and then also Friday,
I can't handle it. I'm going to be dying.
Exactly.
Dude.
I, as well as the Jays, need a little bit of a breather at this current juncture of time. But I would still believe in the boys to get it done. Ultimately, it would take a miraculous knocking on the wood. It would take really either a cataclysmic disaster from the Toronto Blue Jays, or really a miracle right now for the New York Yankees to go on and win this series. I think that the Jays have done what they needed to do. They really just killed any type of momentum the Yankees had walking into this series, and I find it so hard to bounce back from those first 2 games.
Yeah, you got to hope they get it done, because either way, it's going to be scary. And the one thing giving me confidence, yes, at Rogers Center, we pop off at Rogers Center, but Gausman dominated in the first game. And then who's going up again in that 5th game? Probably Max Fried. He's going to be going again. And what did we do against Max Fried? We dominated him yet again. So, hey, we'll see. We'll have to ride. We're going to do a Blue Jays Today show on Thursday, because it would be Wednesday after Game 4 if we get to that point. We'll be most likely doing a Blue Jays Today show on Thursday if it gets to a Game 5. So I'm sure we'll have a lot more thoughts in that regards.
Yeah, and hopefully we don't.
Hopefully we don't have to do that. Hopefully we do a Blue Jays Today show Wednesday, and then we can go and enjoy and rest our vocal cords.
Exactly, and as you guys too. I mean, obviously this has been a great experience, great weekend, but fuck, it's stressful. I need a couple days off at this current point. I'm ready to just sit back, relax, and I think about how good it would be if they did win tomorrow. If they did win tomorrow, then we just get to sit back, relax, and watch Detroit and Seattle kill each other.
Yeah.
And I would love to see those two, go head to head, bring it to a game 5, get yourself exhausted. Whoever wants to win at that point, feel free, get her done. We'll be ready. Toronto Blue Jays will be ready, chilling. Get another, if they win on Tuesday, they would get another, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days effectively of breather between the first ALCS game.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That would be beautiful. Shout out to Doug Savona one more time with the $2 donut saying, put some respect on my name. The respect he's asked for is giving him credit for a Jays in 3. And I'll tell you what, Doug, if that happens, you are the man.
Yes.
you
and
are the
let me
man.
tell you, Doug, if Leah kind of went above and beyond with the cookies and everything, but you were right there in the back of my brain for fan of the month. So we haven't.
If that's what you're talking about.
We've noticed you as well right there, Doug. You know what you're doing. We appreciate every single one of the 330 individuals that spent this morning listening to Jon Morosi, listening to us break down the Toronto Blue Jays this past weekend. We will be coming out with podcasts throughout the week. We will be live for tomorrow's game. And for whatever games are necessary, we will be live on Wednesday and Friday if needed. We hope that's not the case. I kind of want to go golfing on Friday.
Honestly, I want to.
Kind of want to do that.
I could also sleep.
Could also do
I
that
could also
as well.
sleep and play video games.
Do any number of those things other than watch the Toronto Blue Jays in wildly stressful fashion.
Let's just get it done, guys. Let's whoop them 15-2 and feel good facing whoever's coming next. Guys, that's the Blue Jays Today show. Make sure you hit that like button. Smash that subscribe button as we're trying to get to 36K. It is $4 a month. Become a YouTube member. Shout out to all of our current YouTube members. You guys are awesome.
Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And as always,
go Jays, go!
It was like the quietest we've ever.
I know.
Go Jays, go.
I wanted to get there and I couldn't.